Hi everyone, Tim here. So in this lesson, I want to show you the kind of English pronunciation that you should be learning. And I have prepared a short presentation to show you this. In this presentation, I will tell you what English you should be trying to learn. And later, we will actually go through and learn the pronunciation. But first, I want to ask you a question. What is language? If you think about this question, it's not that hard to answer. Language is a tool for communication. So, what is communication? Communication is the sending and receiving of meaning. For example, humans send out meaning through words that they speak or in written text, and other people, or maybe animals or computers, receive the meaning and they act on it. So, to be able to communicate, we need to put the meaning in a way that is understandable. Now, you may know that there are many different types of English in the world. For example, there is American English, which is mainly spoken by people from the US. There is British English, which is mainly spoken by people from England. There are also other varieties of English, for example, my New Zealand English, or you can go to countries where English is not the native language, but they speak it. For example, India, Singapore, or Nigeria. Then there are countries like Japan, China, or Indonesia where English is spoken as a foreign language. People learn English at school, but they may not use it in business or in their daily lives. So, I have a question for you. How many people speak each type of English? You can see here that I have listed 6 kinds of English and 6 different numbers. Which type of English matches which number? American English is English spoken in the US. British English is English spoken in the UK. BBC English is English spoken on the news in England. Indian English is English spoken in India. Native speakers is the total number of native speakers in the world, and non-native speakers is the total number of people who don't speak English as the native language, but they do speak English. Just for your information, 1 million means 100,000. So this is 100,000, 5,700万, 2億, 2億3000万, 4億, and 12億. Let's have a look at the answers. So for American English, there are 230 million speakers. For British English, there are 57 million speakers. For BBC English, there are 1 million speakers. For Indian English, there are 200 million speakers. There are 400 million native speakers of English in the world, and there are 1,200 million, or 1.2 billion, non-native speakers in the world. So, what are the chances? If there are 400 million native speakers in the world, and there are 1,200,000,000 non-native speakers, what are your chances of speaking English with a native speaker of English? If you guessed 1/3, you are correct. This means if you go out into the world and you use English, you have a higher chance of speaking English with a non-native speaker. What does this mean for you though? Native speaker English is not the easiest to understand. For example, sometimes I have trouble understanding Irish or Scottish English. I cannot understand what people say to me. This means you should not aim to sound like a native speaker. Sounding like a native speaker is not realistic or useful. This is a good thing. I said earlier that language is a communication tool. This means you only need to learn how to communicate. You do not need to learn how to speak like a native speaker. I said earlier that communication is the sending and receiving of meaning. This means you must put the meaning in a way that other people can understand it. In this class, I will teach you English that gives you the greatest chance of being understood. Thank you.